Hey gang, we just wanted to drop in and give you a little heads up on what you're about to listen to. This is the long lost pilot episode of K-Flix Fiction Radio. This is the very first show Shawn and I ever recorded.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Still sounds pretty good, you know. You can see the birth of the idea and the concept, and, you know, you can hear baby Shawn and baby Dustin from early in 2024 just chatting away. We sound so youthful and innocent. It's quite fascinating.
Feels like ages ago for sure. But yeah, this was the test, really. This was the is this going to work?
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing is still the test. But
yeah, really 2024 is the test.
Yeah, but just, you know, see if we had the microphone chemistry.
Right.
I think it holds up. It ended up working as well as many of our later episodes.
Absolutely. It's a fun episode still. It's a fun movie that I had not seen before.
It was a movie we picked because we were okay burning it, basically, as not a real episode. And I think we both enjoyed it more than we thought we were going to. So without further ado, I think you guys should enjoy the episode.
Dustin said it all. Enjoy the episode.
Watching movies, jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.
Welcome, everyone, to 198.4 K-Flix Fiction Radio. I'm your host, Sean Coney, and with me is sometimes my co-host, Dustin Weiskopf. Dustin, how you doing today?
Hey, man. I'm good. How are you, Sean?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Again, this is a test episode. Hopefully, we can release it as a bonus content at some point in time. We're going to discuss a lot of fictional bands on this podcast. Dustin, what do we got up for this test run today?
Ooh, for this test run, we're going to talk about, I think, a group that maybe neither of us was excited about to start with, which is why we designated it a test episode, but it seems like maybe you've gotten a little excited.
That's true. Well, yeah, we did sort of pick this as a test run because, you know, it's a boy band, and, you know, we're men of nearly 40, so
we remember all the boy bands already.
Yes, we do at least remember all of the boy bands. Even going back to New Kids on the Block, we were alive for that too.
For sure. Which we'll get into this, but when I originally approached this, I thought the analog was going to be NSYNC, Backstreet Boys every time, but actually vocally, I think they're a little bit more like New Kids.
That's true. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
The band is Four Town from the Pixar film Turning Red.
Right, which I had not seen before, but you had.
Which I had seen, but I had not looked at in this context or listened to in this context before, so it was good to go back and watch it and pay attention to the music.
Sure.
And only the music, or mostly the music.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, to be honest with you. I liked it way more than I had anticipated.
Yeah, what got it for you? The 2000 setting? Bring back some memories for you?
The nostalgia factor was definitely a huge win in terms of the movie, but I thought that it was really, really funny. Her friend group was super funny. I liked the camaraderie, and I really liked the way that the movie captured the fandom of really loving a musical group and wanting to see them live.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it captured something we don't really have anymore. I guess we do. It's all concentrated on Taylor Swift at this point. That's the only modern person I can think of that commands this kind of attention. It's certainly not multiple groups like it was back in the day.
That's so true, because I mean, in the heyday of these boy bands, you know, there were countless boy bands. O-Town, 98 Degrees, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys.
Absolutely.
So many.
And I, to be honest, you know, it's something I appreciate more in hindsight. Definitely it was not my scene at the time. I was a punk rock boy, and it was pretty uncool to like this music back then. Now who gives a shit? But I mean, I could name some NSYNC songs, I could name some Backstreet Boys songs. I couldn't tell you a 98 Degrees song, and I definitely couldn't tell you an O-Town song. And, you know, this band, presumably O-Town was the jumping off point for the name.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta assume the town is in the name.
A little bit of NSYNC there with the asterisk.
So this band Four Town, they have 3 songs in the movie. The 3 songs were not written by a fictional person. They were written by very real people. Billie Eilish and her older brother Finneas O'Connell.
Indeed.
Which is pretty friggin' cool. I mean, they were swinging for the fences with getting but I mean, Disney's always sort of done that with getting Phil Collins in there and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, Disney has always tried to, at least in our lifetimes, has always gone hard on getting pop stars to contribute. I mean, Tarzan for me it was kind of a turning point in a bad way as a kid, like because it was the end of the sort of musical style, like Broadway musical style recordings of Disney movies. I don't think I appreciated Phil Collins at all at that point in my life, but I just remember being like, what the fuck? Like when does the creatures sing together, you know?
Right,
that's what happens in a Disney movie. The creatures sing.
But, you know, Billie and her brother Finneas, like, they don't play around. They've already got 2 Oscar wins under their belt. They won for the No Time to Die 007 movie in 2022.
Yeah.
And then they just fired off their second one this past year with the What Was I Made For from Barbie.
Oh, I didn't realize they were involved in Barbie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The James Bond songs, that's a good track.
That is a really good track.
Good job with that.
I watched the music video for that again in preparation for this, and it's just a really powerful song.
I feel like I'm pro them doing more movie stuff because I like all this stuff way more than either of their solo pop music work, if I'm being honest. It's pretty ballad heavy. Before researching this episode, I didn't even know he released music where he sang. I just thought he was like a, co-writer for her stuff. And so I went through some of it and to be honest, I got bored pretty quick. It was a lot of no energy Ed Sheeran kind of stuff in my mind.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with either of them in terms of music outside of movies. I know the Bad Guy song, Billie Eilish's Bad Guy song, but that's the only song of hers that I know off the top of my head for sure is hers.
I mean, it's one of those artists I've just never. It's like Adele. It's weird. It's I know that it's not something wrong with the music. It's wrong with me. There's just something. It just doesn't hook me.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's got a beautiful voice
for sure.
They have 19 Grammy wins between the two of them, so
they're doing something right.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid outing.
That's a few more than I have, actually.
Right? Yeah, I've got a whopping 0. So
I'm not going to tell you how many I have. Don't look it up. But it's less than 19.
And Turning Red, I mean, like, they had a pretty successful run in terms of getting nominated for the movie itself. I mean, not the songs, but the movie was nominated for Best Animated Feature at both of the Golden Globes and the Oscars.
And it won neither of those?
Neither, no. Yeah, lost both of them.
It's tough. It used to be just the, back, I keep going back to back in our day. The Disney movie won all the awards because it was the Disney movie that year.
That's true.
Animation's come a long way. It's a good thing. I think also it was the right time for this movie, right? Like we were in 22, I think, in the middle or just following a Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
2002? No, they were still together in 2002, man.
22, when the movie came out.
Oh!
22.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. They were probably in the middle of a tour then.
I think they were in the middle of their reunion tour. We've got, everybody, millennials are into this stuff. They're eating this stuff up.
It's funny you say that you're not super into Finneas's singing because he's actually one of the members of Four Town. He's a voice for one of the members of Four Town.
No, I'm aware. I mean, for better or worse, he's the only name I recognize. I know every member of this band is very accomplished in the world of music and musical theater. They've all got a lot of things under their belt, and I have no problem with his voice. It's just his solo work again just kind of makes me feel sleepy.
Coolest thing about Finneas that I found out while doing the research for this test podcast is that he was in the Cameron Diaz movie Bad Teacher as one of the students in her classroom.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I went back and I watched some clips from the movie, and it's pretty funny to see him just as like a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah, I was gonna say
acting in this movie. Yeah, he's just like a little kid, and his hair is like spiked up like Wayne Static or like the Slim Jim guy. It's just like straight up in the air, like this red hair just spiked up. It's pretty cool,
as was the style at the time.
Yeah, of course. So in lines of cool things that I found out about the real members of Four Town, like Finneas being in Bad Teacher, the guy that plays Robert, Jordan Fisher, he is one of the voices in a video game called Until Dawn, and I loved that game. So when I found that out, I actually got like really excited. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool.
No way.
Yeah. So I was like genuinely pumped when I saw that.
I've never heard of this game. What is this game?
Oh my God. It's such a cool horror game. It has Hayden Panettiere from Heroes in it as well. She was the cheerleader in Heroes. And you control all of these different characters that go to this cabin in a snowy mountain. There is a killer going around, and the game is super interactive with your remote. So when you have to hide, if you move the remote, it'll make a sound so the killer knows where you're at.
Oh, God.
While he's like snooping around. It's so cool. It's like a choose your own adventure thing too, where if you choose the wrong thing, like the character will die and then that character's gone for the rest of the game.
Oh, wow.
It's so cool.
Okay. You're really selling sitting still for fun.
That's yeah, that's fair. Well, it's for such small periods of the game, but
Okay.
It's so intense. Like the sitting still is so intense.
Okay. I could see how that would make a very good horror game. Yes. Well, since we're talking about the members, I feel like I'm going to bring this up now. Did you see the live performance?
I did see the live performance. Yeah, where three. It was just
Conspicuously
3 of the
missing
5, but
Phineas and Jordan Fisher.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, hey, getting 3 of them together is pretty solid.
Pretty solid. And honestly, I thought the live version kicked the recorded version's ass in a lot of ways. Like it had an energy that was way different, and I thought it was really good. I thought they did a great job. I know that the guy most responsible for it wasn't there, but I thought those 3 did a killer job, and the two guys who joined them.
Yeah.
So those 3 guys, Josh Levi, Topher No, and Grayson Villanueva, I thought really brought it on that live performance.
It was really cool to see that happen. I mean, it would have been awesome to have all 5 of them, but I totally understand that being a scheduling nightmare.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I imagine this Phineas guy being on a rocket arc that he's been on for the last couple of years is booked out well in advance.
Just to bring it back to the movie for a second and dealing with the fandom of loving particular musical artists and things like that, I distinctly remember that feeling of loving particular music acts when I was growing up and desperately wanting to see them in concert, and that feeling of not being able to go. So I was wondering if you remember your first concert, or if there was a particular concert when you were growing up that you desperately wanted to go to that you were not able to attend.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm sure there was stuff I wanted to go to that I couldn't attend. It's hard to say, because like my childhood was steeped in country music, and I loved it for what it was, but I don't think I was even aware of like people playing it live at that point in my life.
Okay.
So it was only in high school when I started to get into the punk rock or pop punk era of our time that I really, really wanted to go places. And the first show that I got to go to kind of on my own was Green Day, actually, on the album before American Idiot.
Was that Nimrod?
No, it was after Nimrod. It wasn't very popular, which is why we're having a hard time coming up with it, but I loved the hell out of that record. The album was Warning.
I remember Warning, yeah.
Released in 2000. And I think I probably saw them in 2001, maybe even 2000. Anyway, on the tour supporting that record, and it was super cool. I got to see them at for that band, a small venue, a 2,000 seater.
Wow.
With the bonus of, this is a deeper cut, but the band The Living End.
Oh yeah, which
was the
you and I
opening
saw
act.
together later on in high school.
Indeed, we did. Yes.
Yeah.
Always a great show out of those
Oh my
Aussie
God,
boys.
killer live show.
So how about you? I know for a fact, I don't remember what the show is, but I know for a fact you went to way cooler concerts way earlier in your life than I did.
That's fair. So in terms of first concert, it's like a toss-up for which one counts. The first one that I went to was the Coming Out of Their Shells Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles concert.
Shit.
Which was pretty fucking cool.
What was that? Was it Ninja Turtles on stage?
Yeah, but they had like a rock band, and it was and there was like a big set on stage. I also had the VHS. We purchased the VHS tape of the show that you could go home and watch afterwards. So I would watch that all the time when I was a kid.
And what songs did they perform? This is separate from like the Vanilla Ice stuff that was going on at the time.
It was like Disney on Ice, but it was Ninja Turtles play rock music.
Oh, that's cool. That's super cool. Do they have anything like that for kids these days? There's some sort of like Dora the Explorer live thing, right?
Sure. Well, I saw Go Diego Go live, which is just a musical show, but it's for children. But yeah, but absolutely, they still have the ice shows that happen all the time.
Oh, okay.
Like Disney on Ice is very much still a thing. I'm nearly positive of that.
Okay, so you can still draw a crowd with that stuff. I was wondering if you could do something like that again, but it sounds like they have been. They still do.
Yeah, man, it's like monster trucks. That's not going to go out of style. You know, there's always going to be little kids. They're going to need events to go to, stuff like that. The other possible first band, if you want to go for a technical first band, not like a Ninja Turtle first band, it's Aerosmith. I got to see Aerosmith was my first concert.
I knew there was a classic rock act in there, and I couldn't remember who it was. I thought maybe it was Kiss.
I have seen Kiss, and I've actually seen Kiss with Aerosmith.
Really?
Yeah.
Different time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I've checked neither of those bands off my list.
What do you say we get to these songs, Dustin?
All right, let's talk about the songs. You got an order you want to go in?
I do, yeah.
All right.
I would like to talk about You Know What's Up first.
You Know What's Up?
The confidence-boosting song, if you will.
Okay. I'm into that.
Let me first off say that I like all three of these songs. I genuinely enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it's got the catchy moments, like the oh, oh, oh.
And baby, I did it on my own. Did it on my own.
Because that is very specific to the time period, that sort of stutter on a syllable into a word.
Yeah.
And it has that classic talking over the beat.
It does have the talking over the beat breakdown. Yes.
You want it? I want it. You want it? I want it. You want it?
But something just sort of feels off about the song to me. Like this one, out of the three of them, doesn't feel like it was made in the early zeros, along with the boy band songs. It feels like something that was made now to sound like then, as opposed to sounding like a boy band song.
I could not agree more. Yes, I felt the same way. I think the nice version of that was I was like, well, this is the B-side. This sounds like the B-side to the A-side of Nobody Like You.
Right.
But yeah, totally. It doesn't quite... Here's the thing. It does have certain elements. If you listen to the bass line in this track, it's got this like ever so slight, almost like Latin vibe. If you don't think about it compared to In Sync, and you think about it compared more to maybe what Enrique Iglesias was doing at the time.
Oh, okay.
It makes a little more sense musically to me.
Maybe it's that it's not lining up with the boy band territory of music, but it is lining up with the era of music.
Correct.
It's lining up with the pop aspect of the 2002 era, but it's not lining up specifically for the boy band era.
Absolutely. Like one thing I tried to do with all of these songs was listen to them at least mentally without the vocals and just hear the music. And actually, I just realized there are instrumental versions on Spotify that I did not take advantage of for that purpose. Kind of an idiot. Just remembered seeing that.
You know what's up?
That sort of crawling bass line feels very of the time. It's like you said, it wasn't a boy band trope necessarily. It was more Latin crossover, Ricky Martin kind of thing.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So the thing that took me out of You Know What's Up is actually the talky bit, the dance breakdown with the words over it. And again, I don't think it's fully out of place, but that felt a little more New Kids. That felt a little more earlier.
Yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't quite fit in that song. But I will say the talking over the breakdown does work in Nobody Like You.
Because it's more sing-song. It's more...
Exactly, yes.
I would call that a rap. I mean, I know a rapper maybe wouldn't call that a rap, but I don't know what else to call it.
Let's call it what it is. It's a masterpiece. Got a whole lot of love for them city streets. Tonight is the place to be. Got a big boombox and a new CD.
If You Know What's Up. Okay, here's one more thing that bothers me is they did 3 songs and 2 of them did the letter U as you thing.
At least there's no Z's.
That's true. That was more new metal. I feel like doing the Z's.
Fair enough.
Biscuit territory.
Oh.
If I had 3 tracks to work with, I would have not done the U thing on 2 of them.
Totally fair.
A little over the head. whatever.
Do you like Nobody Like You more than You Know What's Up?
Absolutely, I do. And, if You Know What's Up is the B-side, Nobody Like You is definitely the A-side. Like, you can just tell right away. You walk in with these two songs, you ask anybody, they're going to go, ooh, that one.
Sure.
You Know What's Up.
I do know what's up.
Yeah, Nobody Like You has everything. I mean, it has all the stuff of the time, and it very much has the boy band instrumental backing it all up, because it's just that slamming piano and bass staccato thing that was, I mean, that's in sync. That's Bye Bye Bye. That's Britney Spears stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That was the sound of all these acts.
I really like that you've been focusing in on the musicality of the songs, because specifically for this one and the next song, I've been focusing on the lyrical content.
Great. And that's something I didn't give a lot of thought to, because I'm like, well, I never thought the lyrics were all that great to these songs. Although I will say this, since you brought up lyrics, we're going to dive a little bit into the history of all this stuff then. Do you know who Max Martin is?
I know that name.
Okay. Do you know about just generally the clique of Swedish dudes who wrote all the pop songs who continue to write all the pop songs? This dude and a few others. I don't have all their names offhand, but Max Martin's the one who gets referenced the most as sort of the king of this big beat pop factory in Sweden at the time. Name a Backstreet Boys hit, he wrote it. Name an NSYNC hit, he wrote it. Name a Britney Spears hit, he wrote it. Toxic, he wrote it. No single person in history has written this many number one pop songs. But there's an interesting thing about the way these songs are written, because they're all written by the Swedes. And Justin Timberlake actually brings this up there was a Hot Ones recently with all of the members of NSYNC. They get into some fun stuff as they do on Hot Ones, but one of the things that Timberlake mentions is they talk about that It's Gonna Be May.
Okay.
And how he was directed in the studio, like he originally sang It's Gonna Be Me. Mm-hmm. And they said, no, give it a little more, give it more It's Gonna Be May. Mm-hmm. And his point was that there's something about, since English isn't their first language, they can actually think about English in a more musical way. They think about it more as an instrument than as a way to communicate, which is why you get, famously some Backstreet Boys lyrics that make no damn sense.
Right.
But they sound great. And I think if I had to pick something that's missing in these Finneas songs, they sound great, but he speaks English natively. And so he doesn't quite have, it's not that it has to be nonsensical, but it's just the way that they think of like vowels is different than how we do when we're writing songs in English.
Well, just as a side note, I remember doing musical theater and being instructed to do that very thing of replacing the long E's with an A sound.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. So that's been around in that world for a while.
Bringing it back to the particular lyrics of Nobody Like You, I felt that this was a Kidz Bop song.
Oh, really? And how do you mean a Kidz Bop song? Like it's like a G-rated version of something else?
Absolutely. Just listen. Just let me speak. Just let me speak some lyrics to you.
Okay.
Had friends and I've had buddies. It's true, but they don't turn my tummy the way you do.
It is funny that you bring that up, because that "turn my tummy" really stuck out to me as not fitting of even things were pretty clean in the NSYNC world, but "Turn My Tummy" is, I just figured that was Disney with their heavy hand going, it is a kid's movie after all.
Yes, but the boy bands of our day did not make songs that sounded like baby talk.
That's true. I mean, they weren't dirty, but they just avoid, like, everything was about like feeling true love or whatever.
But yeah, it struck me as too kid-like.
I never met nobody like you. Had friends and I've had buddies. It's true, but they don't turn my tummy the way you do. I never met nobody like.
This is like if there were 5 Raffies and they formed a Raffi boy band, they would sing about their tummy.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I think it balances out a bit. The rest of the song isn't too Raffi heavy.
It still takes me out of the song a decent amount when I hear that.
Absolutely. It's so funny that you brought it up, because I thought, honestly, as someone who wasn't paying that close attention to the lyrics, that's the one that caught my ear and made me go, tummy? Really?
That's not even the most sidesteppy lyrics for me.
Oh, what do you got?
Oh, wow. We'll get into it in One True Love.
Oh, okay. Not in this song. I see.
Before we go moving on, I would do myself a disservice by not mentioning the fact that this is a Grammy-nominated song. It just lost.
Oh, and what did it lose to?
It lost to We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto.
Ah, yeah. Well, Midas Touch.
All right, so that leaves us with One True Love. Dustin, I know that you're a big fan of this love ballad, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's I listen to it every day when I wake up and once before I go to bed.
Right?
No, I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. I've never been a ballad guy. I don't hate slow music, or I don't hate understated music, but I think I need it to be like more sad or more angsty or something. When it's just sweetly sung, tune right out.
Okay.
But I want to hear your thoughts on it.
To me, this one sounded the most like a boy band song from 2002.
I think you're not wrong there, actually.
It really hit every sort of note musically, and like
I get what you're saying, and I think they do some real harmony work in this one where it's actually, five guys singing together, and that's part of the reason this will never be exactly the same is because, this was created in a studio only. These guys did not live, eat, breathe, sleep
right.
the brand together for years like the real boy bands did. But Nobody Like You, they nailed it on the music. They really did. They nailed it on the sound. But you're right. One True Love is a song where if you played it with no context and said this is a band you just never heard from the 2000s, I would say, okay, I believe you. I absolutely believe you.
Right, yeah. That being said, this song is super creepy.
Go on.
It's so stalkerific, dude. You got the lyric about
Drove by your house 29 times today.
you're like, hey, that's a little excessive.
Yeah.
29 times you drove by. Then it escalates to
Drove by your house 10,000 times last year.
buddy, get over it.
I do imagine 10,000 is hyperbole.
If you're driving by 29 times in a day, either way, dude, get over it. And then more lyrics.
Nobody else wanted to dry my tears.
Dude, she didn't either. You had to drive by 10,000 times last year. She doesn't want anything to do with you, you freaking creep.
You are my one true love.
Not to her, buddy. Not to her. They say the phrase nobody else 8.5 times in this song. She wants anybody else.
You're totally right. I would argue that's what makes this the realest of the tracks. Like, weren't these songs actually all kind of creepy back then?
Yes. See, that's my point. It's the closest to a boy band song. It's creepy as shit. And why the hell are most love ballads about stalkers?
Yeah.
The Police did it too.
That one's not even about like love. That one's just about stalking. It's just about like, I will vengefully watch from afar. Maybe not even that far.
No, probably not that far. Closer than you would like.
Indeed. There's something about that overstated love that nobody wants in real life, but we want it in our pop songs. Or we did at the time, at least.
Sure. Yeah. If I'm driving by somebody's house 10,000 times in a year, their neighbor's fucking calling the cops on me.
I didn't realize I did pull up a calculator and 29 times 365 is 10,585. So it would be just about at the 29 a day.
I didn't even think to check the math on that. That's so funny.
Yeah, that 10,000 wasn't an accident. They're revealing that this was an all-year obsession.
Well, now I at least respect it a lot more from the songwriting perspective of making sure the math's good.
When I first listen to a song, what I first want to do is look at the lyrics and see if there are numbers. And if there are numbers, I want to make sure they add up to other numbers in the song.
Exactly. If they're off,
It's trash.
yeah, you can't listen to that shit anymore.
Garbage. Yeah. So pass that test.
The math test. You get an A+, Phineas and Billy. Good job. Your math checks out.
Sean, do you have any questions for me?
I do, Dustin. I do. How did you know? Oh my
I see that.
goodness.
It's almost like we talked about it off mic.
But we didn't. We totally fucking didn't. Never
this
would
is
we
live.
do such a thing. Yeah,
This is
right.
live.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So now that we've listened to the 3 songs and we've talked about the 3 songs, how do you think Four Town would have fit into the mix of the boy bands in our actual reality. Say if Four Town was a band in the days of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, would you have listened to them? How would they have fared? Would they have fallen by the wayside? Like, how do you think they would have done in our real existence?
Oh, that's a good question. First of all, they're way too diverse to be a band of our time. Not white enough at all.
That's true, yeah. Sadly, very true.
But no, I think it's hard to say when you know, we've only been given these 3 examples. Like, I can't even possibly extrapolate where they could have gone from here. I think it's a good first effort. I mean, I think the first couple, maybe not the first couple, first record at least from NSYNC or Backstreet Boys was not all that memorable. It didn't have the veneer, the shine of the next stuff, the albums where they blew up. So it's hard to say. But my instinct right now is that these guys probably would have lived somewhere with around O-Town, maybe a little below 98 degrees.
Okay.
Not tier 1. What do you think? Do you disagree?
I think that they would have been pretty comparable to 98 Degrees.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would 98 Degrees to me is the quintessential tier 2 boy band act.
Yeah, you know, they would have peaked out on like 5th place on TRL.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they were probably on TRL a few times.
Oh yeah.
Not every week like the other guys.
No, it's sort of like a bounce in and out.
Yeah, you get 98 Degrees and you get some corn to cleanse your palate, and then you get up to the bye 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 and all that.
Do you feel like you will ever listen to Four Town again?
Oh man, probably I'll listen to all these songs one more time just to take in everything we've talked about.
Sure.
And then I'm probably done. How about you?
Well, they're forever going to remain inside of my fictional bands playlist, so I'm sure that they're going to come up on shuffle for me.
Okay, sure, yeah. I can't think of a specific occasion where I would look up the Four Town songs.
That's true, yeah.
Going forward.
I would, however, watch the movie Turning Red again.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
It was nice to just have a brand new take and eye and experience and, you know, life background and
absolutely.
Culture. It was a really fun movie, and I laughed out loud so hard so many times. I was laughing way more than I thought. I did not expect it to be as much of a comedy as it was. I really didn't.
That friend group, they're fun. A lot of good cracks in there.
Specifically, the one with the high energy. I think her name was Abby or something. She was making me laugh so hard.
Yeah, I thought it was a really sweet film. I think it reflects what's going on in film in general. A lot more diverse voices are being highlighted.
Yeah, and it's turning out good products.
Go figure. You get people with good ideas and they make good stuff instead of just doing the same old thing.
Yeah, the same old, same old.
Well, this has been a fun dive.
Yeah, I think we done turned red.
We done turned red.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. This has been Sean Coney and Dustin Weiskopf for 198.4 K-Flix Fiction Radio. Be sure to come back for the next fictional band. And if there's a fictional band out there that you want us to cover, fuck off.
Thanks for listening, dicks.
Watching movies, jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.